Let us start the session by chanting Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. All right. So, after having studied the Abhidhamma Pitaka for some 2.5, 3 years, we are now ready for the study of the first book of Abhidhamma. So before we do go into the details and the breakdown of the book, right, if I might offer some more details about why it might also be important to study or go into the study of the Dhammasangani, you will learn that the Dhammasangani offers a great depth of detail to what we have already studied, right? Specifically, in the starting of what we are going to be going into probably next week, not today, the Chitta and the Chetasika chapters of the Abhidhamma Pitaka is going to be your stepping stone, your foundation, your opening of the doorway, which would allow for your smooth study of the Abhidhamma. So that is very important to note. And the charts that we have worked with and learned from with the Abhidhamma Pitaka, specifically the Sampayoga and the Sangraha, which works on the different formulas of amalgamation between the Chittas and the Chetasikas, will come very much in handy, very much in handy. So keep them near you. Now, when we look at the Sasana, we have the Pariyapti Sasana, the Pariyapti, the Patipatti, and the Pativeda Sasana, right? The 3 types of sasanas: Pariyapti Sasana, Pariyapti, Patipatti, and Pativeda, right? The Pariyapti Sasana, what is the Pariyapti Sasana? The Pariyapti Sasana is the study of the Tripitaka, right? The Pariyapti Sasana is a study of the Tripitaka. What is the Patipatti Sasana? The Patipatti Sasana is the practice and learning. So when they say learning, it comes to Bhavanamaya Prajna, right? With regards to the Satyesha Bodhisparshika Dhamma, right? So the Bodhipakya Dhamma, the 4 Noble Truths, the 12 factors of dependent origination, right? The 12 factors of dependent origination, right? Those parts become what is known as the Patipatti Sasana. So what we practice is essentially the Bodhisparshaka Dharmas, the 4 Noble Truths. I missed the 8-fold Noble Path, and the 12 links of dependent origination. For those of us who have dwelled deeper into the Tripitaka Dhammas and who have thicker panya, we are able to also add in the Patthana, right? Those parts become what we know as the Patipatti Sasana, right? What is the Pativeda Sasana? Yes, Dil? You didn't have a question. Okay. Pativeda Sasana is Maggaphala Nibbana, right? 4 Maggas, 4 Phalas, and Nibbana, right? And Nibbana. So when it comes to the practice itself, the practice itself is the patipatti, reaching the Pativeda. So that is our main concern when it comes to the Buddhist practice. However, this is by no means to insinuate that the pariyapti is not important in any way, but the pariyapti is what offers the learning, the knowledge, the data with regards to, or by which way we bring about the understanding for the experiencing of the Bodhispashaka Dhamma, the Eightfold Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths, the 12 links of the dependent origination, and the Suvisi Pratyaya, which is the Patthana. Is that clear, everyone? Now, in the deterioration of the sasana, what we mean is where the practice dissipates, where we are no longer able to attain nirvana, the Buddha has said that the deterioration of the sasana will start with the pariyapti sasana. The first to deteriorate will be the pariyapti sasana. Right? Pariyapti sasana. How? And within the pariyapti sasana, which part of the pariyapti or which part of the Tripitaka will deteriorate first? The Abhidhamma. Right? So the Abhidhamma, in the process of deterioration, the Abhidhamma would be the first part of Tripitaka Dhamma to deteriorate from the sasana, hence issuing a very hard blow to those future aspirants who might want to attain nirvana. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Now, as we and swim in the ocean of Dhammasangani, you will understand for yourself. If you thought that the Abhidhamma Sangraha was deep, you have another thing coming with this class. Right? You really, not because, I mean, in no way am I insinuating that it is difficult to understand or achieve or attain. It is a fact that it is all Dhamma, that the Dhammic formulas that we are going to be using again and again and again and again to break down the Dhammas that we have gone across through, of course, the Abhidhamma Sangraha. Is that clear, everyone? Right. Okay. Any questions? No, I hope not yet, I guess. Right. Let me connect my iPad, please. Still connecting. Oh, okay. Right. Do you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Bhante, can I say something?
Yes. Yes.
I just want to say, as we start this, we are lucky to be alive and have a teacher like you. Sadhu, sadhu.
Oh, okay. Right. Thank you, Devika. Now let us start. You can see that line, yes? Clearly, is it big enough? Okay. Right. Now, when it comes to the Dhammasangani, when it comes to the Dhammasangani, we know that the Dhammasangani is the first of how many books, everyone? How many books of Abhidhamma?
7 books.
7 books of Abhidhamma, right? So the Dhammasangani is the first of 7 books of Abhidhamma, right? The Dhammasangani, as the name suggests, what is Sangani? Sangani is a collection or Dhammasangraha, we used a word in Sinhalese language, Dhammasangraha, right? Which is a comprehensive collection of dhammas. Okay, Dhammasangani, right? Now, this Dhammasangani, you will find in the Dhammasangani, there are 4 main parts of the Dhammasangani. Right? 4 main parts. Now, you might have in the revision notes or the handouts that I have circulated over the website, you would have seen Tikamatika, Dukamatika, Abhidhamma Tikamatika, Suddhantika, Dukamatika, all these words, right? So what we are going to be doing today is trying to understand the jargons, those terms, in order that will form a better foundation for our study. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So, in the Abhidhammasangani, we have 4 main parts, right? These parts, they have 2 different names, one which is lesser known, one which is more well known. The lesser known is the first part being Chitta Vibhakti. Chitta Vibhakti. Second, Rupa Vibhakti. Third, Nikkeparasi. Four, Attuddar. Attuddar. Attud. Attuddar. These are the lesser known words, right? Lesser known. Lesser known. The more well-known words that you might have also come across already are these. So it's the same thing, but just lesser, more traditional, more older. And then we have the newer, of course, both are thousands of years old, but these are 2 terms for the same thing. Okay, but I'm going to tell you both so that you won't get confused along the way should one other word, the lesser known, come to be highlighted. So one, Chitta Vibhakti is also known as Chittupada Kanda. Chittupada Kanda. Chittupada Kanda. The second, Rupa Kanda. The third, Nikkepa Kanda. And the fourth is Attakatha Kanda. Right. The last 4. So Chitta Vibhakti is better known as Chittupada Kanda. Rupa Vibhakti is better known as Rupa Kanda. Nikkeparasi is better known as Nikkepa Kanda. And Attuddara is better known as Attakatha Kanda or Attakatha Kanda. Understood, everyone? Okay. Have you finished writing? Right. Now, let us take the Chittupada Kanda the Chittupada Khanda is divided into two parts. One, Matika. Two, Matika. Two is Padabhajaniya. Matika and Padabhajaniya. Right? Padabhajaniya. Right? Now, the Matika has 22 parts. The Matika has 22 parts. Right? Actually, the Matika is further divided into Thika Matika and B Dukkha Matika. T Du. T is 3. Du is 2. Dutiya, Tatiya, right? Thikamatika, Dukkamatika. These are breakdowns, or Matika is divided into two. Thikamatika or Dukkamatika. Dukkamatika is further divided into two. That is 1.1. Abhidhamma Dukkha Matika and 2 Suttantika Dukkha Matika. Okay. Now, is that all right, everyone? Okay. You might wonder why all of this is so important, right? I will come to it, but make sure that you do give your attention to this, right? And have that note in front of you. Okay. Now, let us look at the Thikamatika first, right? Let us look at the Thikamatika first. So we're going to take this. Thikamatika, right? Thikamatika. Now, Thika is 3, right? Thikamatika has 22 subdivisions. 22, or rather categories, right? There are 22 dhammas that are spoken of under Thikamatika, right? 22. These 22, right? For example, if we might take the first category, right, is Kusala Dhamma. Second, Akusala, not the second category, this is under one section. So this is one of the 22. Is that clear, everyone? One of the 22. Kusala Dhamma, Akusala Dhamma, and third is Abhya Katha Dhamma. Some of you might not understand because you have not participated in Abhidhamma Sangraha, but stay on, listen, it's fine, you know. Right. Kusala Dhamma, Akusala Dhamma, Abhya Katha Dhamma. This is one of the 22 Tikamatikas, right? 22 into 3 is 66, right? How does it become 66? These are called 66 according or as pada. Pada, right? So kusala dhamma is patama pada, akusala dhamma is dutiya pada, abhyakata dhamma is tatiya pada. Is that understood? That is how 22 tikamatikas become 3 padas, right? 3 padas. Kusala dhamma, akusala dhamma, abhyakata dhamma. Now, of course, these padas change, right? These padas change. This is just an example to show you how one category under or of the 22 becomes or adds on to the list of 66, how 22 multiplied by 3, because in Tikamatika, everyone, all the categories have 3 different padas. Is that clear? Hence, we will be going through 66 different forms of Dhamma under Tikamatika. Is that clear? Is that clear? Right? Now, under Tikamatika. Now, then we go on to Dukkamatika. Right? Now here we found, right? Here we found there was Tikamatika here, and Dukkamatika is divided into Abhidhamma Dukkamatika and Suttantika Dukkamatika. Right? Suttantika Dukkamatika. Now we know what Tikamatika and why it's called Tika, and what's the difference between Tika and Dukkha. Is that clear, everyone? Because Tika would have 3 padas under it, Dukkha would have to have 2 padas under it, right? What is Dukkamatika, and more specifically, Abhidhamma Dukkamatika, right? Abhidhamma Dukkamatika. Abhidhamma Dukkamatika would have, first of all, Abhidhamma Dukkamatika, yes, Abhidhamma Dukkamatika would have 100 different Dhammas. Abhidhamma Dukkamatika would have 100 different Dhammas that we would be speaking about, right? 100 different Dhammas that we would be speaking about. And under it, there are 13 main categories. Under it, there are 13 main categories, right? Abhidhamma Dukkamatika. Then we have the Suttantika Dukkamatika. In the Suttanta Dukkamatika, there would be 42 different Dhammas that we would be speaking about, right? 42. Now, the Suttantika, something to note about the Suttantika Dukkamatika is that it is not found in any other part of the Abhidhamma Pitaka, or rather in the Dhammasangani, right? It is only the definition and the Dhammas are only found in the last part of the Nikkepa Khanda, right? So let us just put a part there. Last part of Nikkepa Khanda. last part of the Nikkepa Kanda would have the Suttantika Dukkamatika. Right? The Suttantika. So when you go into the Abhidhamma book on Dhammasangani, the last part of that Abhidhamma book would be Suttantika Dukkamatika. Right? The last part of it. Right. Now, when we come this in the study of Dhammasangani, I'm going to say DS, right? In the study of Dhammasangani, in order to progress into or develop a sound understanding of phenomena to the core, right? Which would be the Patthana. What you would need to have under your belt would be a thorough understanding of the 66 thikas, thikamatika, matikas, plus sorry, I have made a mistake. The Abhidhamma Dukkamatika is 200, not 100. Right? So here, this one here is 200. Right? Is 200. Now,
Bhante,
yeah.
I think you said 100 is correct. It's double of 100.
Yes.
It's two.
Yes.
Individually
double of 100.
100, yeah.
So that is
200 altogether.
200 there. Right? So that is the double of 100 there. 200 Dukkamatikas and 66. Right? So 200 plus 66 would give you the understanding that one would have, to go into the Patthana. Right? So any person that goes through the 266 Tikamatikas and the Matikas, the Dukkamatikas, right, would have the understanding that they need to delve into the deep subject of the last book of Abhidhamma. Is that understood, everyone? Right? And that is what we are going to be starting on our study with the Dhammasangani. Right? With the Dhammasangani. Now, to study the Dhammasangani, right? To study the Dhammasangani, now we have gone over Matika, and now we have number 2 here, the Padabhajaniya. Remember that one? The Padabhajaniya. The Padabhajaniya, right? So what is the Padabhajaniya? Padabhajaniya. Under the Padabhajaniya, we have the classifications of Chitta, which is 89, 121. 89, 121 classifications of mind, right? Types of mind. So the Dhammasangani, right? The Dhammasangani would be the 266 Matikas, correct? 266 Matikas and the 89, 121 Padabhajaniyas. Is that understood? Right? Is that understood? Now, how do we access this? How does this knowledge available within the Dhammasangani become, or how do we gain the rite of passage to play with this now, to explore this Dhamma? Right? Is that a fair thing to say? Right? To explore that piece of Dhamma found within the Dhammasangani. Right? For this, the right of entry for a student into the Dhammasangani is gained through the first chapter of the Dhammasangani, which is the chapter on Chitta, and the Chetasika chapter, which has been further enumerated through the Sampayoga and the Sangraha techniques. So, you have to know the Sampayoga and Sangraha quite well. Right? Quite well. So, Sampayoga and Sangraha, so Chitta plus Chetasika of the Abhidhamma Sangraha of the Abhidhamma Sangraha. Right? Of these, we have the two, Sampayoga and Sangraha. Sangaha. Right? Sangaha. In the Sampayoga, there were 16 formulas. In the Sampayoga, there were 16 formulas. And in the Sangraha, there were 33 formulas. These two formulas you must know. Right? These two formulas you must know. Right? So, from today to when we then start on the Dhammasanganis, meaning the Tikamatikas, right? By that time, you should, to be able to get the best out of the study of Dhammasangani and understand it, you have to have a sound knowledge of Sampayoga and Sangraha. Okay? Sampayoga and Sangraha, the 16 and 33 formulas. Is that clear, everyone?
Bhante,
Yes.
what is the reference to find the Sampayoga and Sangraha?
Yes. The Sampayoga and Sangraha, Lucky, is on the book, right? The two charts, where the two charts, it is on the book. Can someone quote the page of the book? Does anyone know? Anyone? Anyone? Yes, dear.
One is on, I'm not sure, but I think comparing the introductory verse where the Sanghana is on page 101. And I think the other one, the mental factors, I think is on page 92.
Okay.
I'm not sure, Bhante, I think
110?
so.
Okay.
I get 92 and 101, but please check, Bhante. This is my
Right.
little message.
So,
I'm not an
around the Lakshman, yeah, it is at the end of the Chitta chapter, right?
Okay.
And also we have a chart which has been compiled by Nandamala Sayadaw, which we have been using as well with the Chitta and the Chetasika and the Chetasika and the Chitta.
Right.
Right. So I will share that on the group. Right. It is also on the resources for the Abhidhamma Sangraha under the resources section on the website. So it's there as well. Right. The
Thank you.
charts separately. Thank you, Lakshman. Now, when we go on to study the Abhidhamma Sangraha, will be using the main book, which is a Tipitaka book, but moreover, we'll be using the chart. The chart which quotes Kusala Dhamma, and then you have the Skanda, the Ayatana, the Dhatu, the Satcha Muttaka. Right? Those parts. Now, you might look at the chart and you might think, is this me? These days the Dhammasangani, right? That Dhammasangani, everyone, right? Or all of that data that you see is a compilation or the essence taken out of the Chittupada Kanda, the Rupa Kanda, the Nikkepa Kanda, and the Attakata Kanda. Right? There. Is that clear? Right? Those parts, right? That essence taken out, right? Where you have Kusala Dhamma, and all of these different padas are divisible. The data that you find there, or the Dhamma classifications that you find there, are always seen through three ways. What is that? Dhamma Bhavattana Varo, Sangaha Varo, Sunyata Varo. Please write this down. Right? Sunyata Varo. Dhamma Bhavattana Varo, Sangaha Varo, Sunyata Varo. All right. Dhamma Bhavattana Varo is the particular quality of the Dhamma that we are looking at. Whether it is accompanied with joy, whether it has somanasa, whether it has domanasa, whether it has sukha, whether it has dukkha, whether it has upekha, the particular quality of the Dhamma, everyone. Right? The particular quality of the Dhamma, that is known as Dhamma Bhavattana Varo. Is that clear? Right? Then we have Sangaha Varo. Sangaha Varo are these 22 categories of the Tikama Tika is further analyzed and grouped into Kanda, Ayatana, Dhatu, Satcha.
Can you go a bit slowly, the
Of
Bhante,
course,
please?
my sincere apologies. I made a determination I'm going to go slow today. Right. I'm going to write it down. Kanda, I'll write it down in different. This Kanda Ayatana Dhatu Satya. So when you see on your chart, you might already have seen Kanda Ayatana Dhatu Satya. Kanda is the aggregate. Ayatana is the sense. Kanda Ayatana Dhatu is the element. Satya is the truth, right? Which is the Four Noble Truths, right? Now, you might have seen this, isn't it? Did you see it on the table or not? You saw it, right? Now, everyone, on that table, Kanda Ayatana Dhatu Satya comes from the Sangaha Varo. Do you understand? Is that clear? Right? Where that piece of information came from, right? That is called the Sangaha Varo, right? Now, then we have Shunyatavaro. Shunyatavaro is the specific analysis that goes on to determine whether these dhammas, the fact that there is no self, right? That piece of data comes under the section of Shunyatavaro, right? Whether there is no self, right? The fact. So what comes into now showing that these dhammas are devoid of self comes from the part of Shunyatavara, right? Shunyatavara. So all 22 parts of the Tikamatika would be expounded in the spirit of or through the essence of Dhammavavattanavara, Sunyatavara, Sangahavara, and Shunyatavara. Is that clear? So when you look at that table and you think to yourself, where has all of this come from? It has all come from the elucidations done through Dhammavattana, Sangaha, and Sunyata. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. And Shunyata. A little bit of extra detail is, number one, Dhammavattana Varo is divided into two parts. Puccha Puccha, correct. Puccha Puccha Sampayoga Nirdesa Dhamma Nirdesa and Appana. Right. Puccha Uddesa, Niddesa. Niddesa. Uddesa, Niddesa. Under Niddesa as well, you have Pucca, Sampayoga Niddesa, same as the Niddesa, Dhamma Niddesa, and 4 Appana. So, Dhamma Vavatthana Varo is divided into 2 categories, Uddesa and Niddesa. Uddesa has Pucca, Sampayoga Niddesa, Dhamma Niddesa, Appana. Niddesa too has Pucca, Sampayoga Niddesa, Dhamma Niddesa, and Appana. Right? 2 categories. Right? 2 categories.
Bhante, can't see your writing.
Oh, sorry.
The second section, Bhante, after Uddesa, Niddesa.
Bhante,
Yeah.
What is the difference between Niddesa and Uddesa?
Yes, I'll come to that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Now, Sanghavara, Dhamsri, I'll come to your question after this. Sanghavara has 3 parts, Uddesa, Niddesa, and Patiniddesa. Uddesa, Niddesa, Patiniddesa. Right? Done, everyone? Right. Sunyatavara. So, Sanghavara has Uddesa, Niddesa, Patiniddesa. Shunyatavara has Uddesa and Niddesa. Right. Has Uddesa and Niddesa. Right. What is the meaning of Uddesa, Niddesa, Patiniddesa? This is also something that we comes across as the form by which even sutras are presented, right? By which even sutras are taught. When it comes to Uddesa, Uddesa is a utterance, right? Is a utterance, right? Is an utterance. Niddesa is a brief explanation. Patiniddesa is a detailed explanation. Does that make sense? Right? Now, remember the stories of where, for example, the Buddha did not give a patiniddesa to Sariputta when he was giving the summary of Abhidhamma to Sariputta Mahathera, where then in turn Sariputta Mahathera formed upon the Dhamma through those utterances, those brief explanations given by the Buddha and taught to the Sangha, isn't it? There was no patiniddesa. Right? It was uddesa or niddesa. Right? And Venerable Sariputta did the patiniddesa, which was a detailed explanation to the Sangha. Right? So uddesa is an utterance. For example, kusala dhamma. Kusala dhamma, what is that? What do you think that is? That is a uddesa. Right? Niddesa. Niddesa is a brief explanation. Katamacha kusala dhamma. What is kusala dhamma? Right? That goes on to be the answer to that is a niddesa. Right? In the Atthakatha Vara or Atthakatha Kanda, the patiniddesa is offered. Is that clear? Where the detailed explanation of why things are as it is, or why those dhammas are classified there. Dil, do you understand? No? Shall I explain again?
Yes.
Right. Now, I am telling you kusala dhamma. Right? That is just an utterance. Right? Now, katamacha kusala dhamma. What is kusala dhamma? Kusala dhamma would have to be all of those dhammas that are associated with alobha, adosa, amoha. Right? Kusala dhamma would have to be all of those dhammas that are associated with alobha, adosa, amoha, free of the tainting factors. That is a niddesa. Do you understand? Right? So the chittas and chetasikas that are associated with alobha, adosa, amoha would be kusala dhamma. That is a niddesa, everyone. Right? So kusala dhamma would be 21 chittas and 38 chetasikas. Right? That is 21 chittas are associated with kusala, and there 38 chetasikas are associated with those chittas, which are all kusala dhamma. Right? That is uddesa. Then we go on to classify the dhammas in detail, kanda, ayatana, dhatu, satcha, breaking down 21 chittas, 38 chetasikas into the different groupings, systematic groupings, to understand in greater detail, to present or open up what kusala dhamma is furthermore. Right? Now we know kusala dhamma arises within the mind. How do we know? Because as a kanda, kusala dhamma only arises, you put aside rupa dhamma, kusala dhamma arises in vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana. Right? Kusala dhamma, we also know kusala dhamma itself can lead to our prolonged existence in samsara. How? Because kusala dhamma is also dukkha satcha.
Sorry, Bhante, still going a bit too fast.
Yes. Now, what you just simply need to understand at this position is uddesa is an utterance. So when I say, or when the Dhamma says kusala dhamma, that is uddesa. Do you understand? When we would say, what is a niddesa? A niddesa is when the Dhamma goes on to say, what is kusala dhamma? A kusala dhamma are all dhammas associated with alobha, adosa, amoha. then we know what are all the dhammas that are associated with alobha dosa moha. The 21 chittas and there are 38 chaitasikas. Right? 28 chittas, 21 chittas, 38 chaitasikas. That is a nirdesa. Then that last part where I went on to say, okay, khanda, as an aggregate, the 4 mind aggregates are a part of, or kusala dhamma can be categorized into the 4 mental aggregates. Vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyana. Right? I will explain. I'm going to explain. It doesn't need to make sense now. But what am I doing? I'm offering you detail, isn't it? That is a patiniddesa. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Right? Now, let's take another example. Right? Uddesa. Let's take another example. Uddesa. Nama, Rupa. Is that clear? Uddesa, Nama, Rupa. What is the Niddesa? Niddesa is all dhammas associated with matter is Rupa. All dhammas associated with mind is Nama. Niddesa. Does that make sense? Right? What is Patiniddesa? Or how can we take it to the level of Patiniddesa? Right? Nama Rupa, Rupa Kanda is 1. Nama Rupa, Nama is 4. Right? Then as ayatanas, we can break it down. As sense bases, Mano Dhatu, Mano Vinyana Dhatu, Dhamma Dhatu, sense, the dhatus with regards to sense, right? We can break it down. As such as Dukkha Satcha, Magga Satcha, we can break these down. Now you see Patiniddesa, a great amount of detail. Does that make sense, everyone? Right? Does that make sense? Let's take a mundane example, right? It's sunny. All right? It's sunny. Uddesa. Niddesa. The temperature is 18 degrees. There is no rain. Right? Patiniddesa. It's sunny, the children are outside, the flowers are blooming, the grass is green, the wind is blowing, it's very comfortable. Patiniddesa. Does that make sense, everyone? That is Patiniddesa, right? So it is the way. So what is this classification of Uddesa, Niddesa, Patiniddesa that we are seeing? This is the amount of detail that is offered with regards to the explanation or the elaboration of dhammas. Is that clear? Right? Okay. Is that clear, everyone? Any questions? Right? So Uddesa, Niddesa, Patiniddesa is also something that we see in the dhammas. Right? Some dhammas, for example, if you take the Samyutta Nikaya, or if you take the Dhammapada, if you take the Theravada, Therigata, Dhammapada, it's very short, 4 verses, right? You can offer some Niddesa into it and elaborate on it a little bit more, but not spoon feeding. Patiniddesa, for example, Mano Pubbhangama Dhamma, Mano Settha, Manomaya, Manasache, Paduttena, Basati Va, Karoti Va. You can explain the whole of Chitta and Chaitasika chapter on the grounds of those 4 verses. So what would that be? Patiniddesa. Is that clear? Right? Now we come into, now that is Chittupada Kanda. That is what we would go through in Chittup, the section on Chittupada, the first part. Now we come into Rupa Kanda. Now we come into Rupa Kanda. Now, Rupa Kanda has 11 parts or subcategories or divisions. Let's say divisions. Under Rupa Kanda, we know how many Rupas are there? There are 28. 28 types of Rupas are there. How many Rupas are there within this body? This one.
27.
27, right? All Rupas, 28, right? An individual, 27. What is missing? For me, it would be the Iti Rupa. For the ladies, it would be the Purusha Rupa. Right? Now, of course, there are anomalies where both the Iti or the physical aspect, Iti and the Purusha, would not exist as well. Right? There are anomalies like that, and that is also explained, but we are going to stick to the basic, right? Which is 27 Rupa in one sexual being, right? All of these 28 Rupas, these Ajattika Rupas, right? They're 27. Of these Ajattika, or of all the 28 Rupas, how many Rupas are Bahira Rupas, external Rupas, Rupas that exist outside?
Still can't see your writing, Bhante, because it's covered with that message.
What message?
You have a message right in front of the screen.
I think it might be your computer.
Yeah, we can see.
Right.
I can see.
Right.
Oh, I think yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right. I crossed it off. Sorry.
It's all right. Now that was a Bahira Rupa to me. Right. Now, out of the 28 Rupas, the Rupas that now I am speaking as an animate individual, right? With organic matter. Of external, that means when I look at the outside world, how many Rupas exist in the outside world? 8. Right? 8. All the rest we find here. Now, of this composition, within the Dhammasangani Rupa Kanda, we find that the Dhammasangani goes into detail about 279 different ways and modes that Rupa can exist. How many? 279 modes of Rupa existence. Right. Existence. Right. So under Rupa Kanda, we are going to study 279 different modes of Rupa. Right? So 266 under Chittupada Kanda, 279 under Rupa Kanda. Under Rupa Kanda. Right? Rupa Kanda. Of these Rupas, just to offer a little bit more, right? There are some Rupas called Ekavida. Ekavida, right? There are 43 Ekavida types of Rupas. Dvida, 2, right? 104. Tivida, 103. Chatubbida, 22. Then Chatubbida 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. All this 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? Ekavida, rupas can exist as ekavida in 43 ways. Dvida, 104 modes or ways. Tivida, 103 ways. Chatubbida, 22 ways. And 5, 1 way, 6, 1 way, and so on up until 11, 1 way each. Right? Of this, in the Dhammasangani, we are going to be missing one specific type of rupa, which is Hadevastu. Right? Hadevastu, we are not going to find classified under the rupa. Right? Why? Because in the Dhammasangani, under Rupa Khanda, Hadevastu is not expounded because as an Arammana, we are unable to speak of Hadevastu, taking Hadevastu as object and also itself being an object. However, when I say this, I hope it rings bells of the Patthana that we finished. Remember? Right? In that Patthana, or in the Patthana, that is where we are going to see that anomaly happening, not in the Dhammasangani. Right? In the Patthana, remember everyone, we spoke of the condition where the Hadevastu, the Chitta arises from the Hadevastu, that same Chitta takes the Hadevastu as an object. Right? That we are going to come back to that, or rather we will only see that in the Patthana. In the Dhammasangani, because of a potential clash that could happen, Dhammasangani does not explain that anomaly, or it doesn't go into specifying that anomaly there. Is that clear? Right? Is that clear? Now, the last of this, right, is Nikkepa Khanda. Right. Nikkepa Khanda offers explanations. Right. Nikkepa Khanda offers explanations. Explanations about what? Explanations about 66 tika, 200 dukkhamas, 42 suttanta matikas. Right? Nikkepa Khanda is where you will find explanations for the 66 Tikamatikas, the 200 Dukkhamatikas, and the 42 Suttanta Dukkhamatikas. Right? Suttantika Dukkhamatikas. So,
Bhante,
yeah,
sorry.
Marias.
So if in the Abhidhamma method, it's 200 Dukkamatika Pada, I think you mean. If that's the case,
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be 84 Suttanta Dukkamatika Pada?
84 Suttantika Dukkamatika Padas.
Is that what you mean? Because it's 142, 100 in Abhidhamma method, 42 in Suttanta.
No,
Dukkamatika.
44, no, 22, Tikamatika, 22 into 3, 66.
Yeah, Dukkamatika, yeah.
Dukkamatika, 100 into 2.
Yeah.
Dukkha, right?
Okay.
Suttantika Dukkamatika, no, it's 42. So, 42 meaning 11.
Still Dukkha.
Dukkha.
Yeah,
Dukkha.
so it is times 2.
Times 2, okay.
As Pada.
Yes. Suttanta Dukkamatikas will Suttantika Dukkamatika.
Dukkha is a pair.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Hurry, up 84 down. Right, correct. 84. Right. 84. Right. 84. So thank you, Chamre. 84 Dukkamatikas. Right. Now, here, everyone, this is the Nikkepa Kanda. Now, I'm going to tell you how you're going to use this. Right? Let me just get off the. Have you finished copying it? So, in your Abhidhamma study, right. In your Abhidhamma study, I have also given you the link for the Moola, right? So this is going to be, this is the Moola, this is the translation of, this is the translation of Dhammasangani by PTS, right? Now, this translation, right? Now, this is for reference. Now, this is when you want to refer to the Moola, right? Introductory. Now, this part 1, this is Chittupada Kanda. This part here, part 1, right? Sorry, book 1, right? Chittupada Kanda. Chittupada, Chitta thoughts, Uppada, uprising, right? Chittupada Kanda, that is book 1, right? Book 2 is Rupa Kanda, right? Book 2 is Rupa Kanda, 121 onwards. Book 2. Book 3 is Nikkepa Kanda. And book 3, the last, here you find the Suttantika Dukkamatikas, the last part of the Nikkepa Kanda. So this group of triplets and all that is here, these are explanations. Explanations of what? Explanations of book 1 and book 2. Right? Book 1. No, sorry. Explanations of 66 Tikkamatikas, 200 Dukkamatikas, and the Suttantika Dukkamatikas. So the Suttantika part is the last part of it. So this would be, this part 1 would be the Tikkamatikas and the Dukkamatikas. Is that understood, everyone? Right? Let us go. Right? So Tikkamatikas first, right? So the group of triplets, Tikka, right? Which are the states that are good? Katama Kusala Dhamma. Katamocha Kusala Dhamma. The 3 roots of good karma, to wit, absence of lust, absence of hate, absence of dullness, the khanda of feeling, perception, activities, and consciousness, when they are associated with those 3 roots, whatever action, bodily, vocal, mental, springs from those 3 roots, right? That is Kusala Dhamma. What are the states that are bad, right? Now, what we do with this is, in the Nikkepa Kanda, the 3 roots of good karma, alobha, dosa, moha, to wit, absence of lust, absence of hate, absence of dullness, so devoid of anything unwholesome, devoid of anything which has bad. The khandhas of feeling, perception, activities, and consciousness, when they are associated with three roots, alobha, adosa, amoha, which also can bring about intimation through body and speech and mind, springs from these three roots. It is with that paragraph that in the chart we find what is kusala dhamma. Is that clear? Right? That is the Nikkepa Kanda. Okay, so when you have a question as to, okay, what is this? Right? Then you can go to the Nikkepa Kanda and you will find the definition of that Dhamma in the Nikkepa Kanda. Is that clear, everyone? Right? That is what the Nikkepa Kanda is. It offers explanations of the 66 triplets, the 200 couplets, and the Suttantika Dukkamatika, right? And the Suttantika Dukkamatika. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Now, one last part. I know it's a lot of detail today, right? But before we end today, there is one last part which we need to know, which is the classifications of dhammas are broken down systematically into skandha, ayatana, dhatu, satcha. Right? The screen is just loading. It's taking, right. Skandha is how many? 5. Rupa Khandha, Vedana Khandha, Sanya Khandha, Sankhara Khandha, Vijnana Khandha. Right? The 5 aggregates. Right? Then we have ayatana, sense bases. Sense bases. How many ayatanas? Ayatanas are 12. We have 12 ayatanas. Right? We have 12 ayatanas. Then we have dhatu. How many dhatus, everyone? Elements. Any idea?
18, Bhante. 18.
Correct. 18. 18 dhatus. And then we have satcha. Truth. 4. Right. 4. Now, we don't have time to go into these, but just have them in your notes and I will explain. So Khandha 5, Ayatana 12, Dhatu 18, Satcha 4. Now, let us go to all right. Just to do a little bit of Dhammasangani before we close the session for today, right? Now, you see everyone on the chart. Is it big enough? Let me increase. I mean, regardless, everyone, I'm going to try my level best to, of course, give you the foundations as best as I possibly can, of course, right? But let me tell you, This is so fun. Dhammasangani is very fun. It's so fun. And but to have that fun, you must know the Sampayoga and the Sankhara, right? The Sampayoga and the Sankhara. But even if it's not polished up, but I hope it is, as we go through, right, it'll get so polished up and it'll sort of start coming to you naturally. But Kusala Dhamma, right? What is Kusala Dhamma? Kusala Dhamma are all dhammas that are associated with the good roots of non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. Right? So then, what are the chittas that have non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion, right, as its roots? Is then the question. Right? Is then the question. So then we remember the chitta, the 89, right? So akusala we take away, right? Akusala we take away. Ahetuka we take away, right? Ahetuka we take away. Then we have the kusala karma sobana chittas, right? Isn't it? How many there? Sobana karma kusala chittas. Can we count together, everyone?
8, Bante.
8.
Yes.
One.
So
Eight.
we have 8 sobana, right? So sobana 8 plus, then we have the rupa vachara. How many rupa vacharas, everyone?
5.
5.
5 rupa vacharas, right? 8 plus 5, 8 plus 5. Then what else do you add? What about the immaterials?
4.
Another
4.
5.
Right? 8 plus 5
5.
plus 4.
Yeah.
Right? And what is that other one? What is the other part that you add?
Supramandin.
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 Yes. How many?
Supramandin.
4.
420.
So 8 plus 5 plus 4 plus
4.
is
21.
21. And its associated chetasikas, right? Which would come to 52 minus what? What do we get rid of?
Akusala Cetasika.
Akusal chetasika. How much is that?
14.
14.
Right. Which is 38.
38.
Right, which is 38. So 21 chittas, 38 chetasikas. Right? Now that is kusala tika. That is kusala tika.
Yeah.
Right? Now everyone, keep in the back of your mind, what are the chittas and then chetasikas? Right? Right? Kusala. Kanda. Kanda is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana.
Yep.
So, out of the 5, how many khandas?
All 5. No.
4.
4. Yeah.
4 khandas. Right? 4 khandas. What do we leave out? There are no rupas in
Rupa. No.
Right? There is no rupa in kusala. So then khanda is only the manodwarika khandas. I'm sorry, mano khandas, not manodwarika, mano khandas. So Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana. Right? Ayatana. Ayatanas is where I would have to explain the ayatanas to you, right?
Yeah.
But what are the ayatanas? Can we go over what the ayatanas are? Right? Ayatana, Chakkayatana, Sotayatana, Ganayatana, Jivhayatana, Cakurodhana Jiva Kaya, Manayatana, right? Then Rupayatana, Sotayatana, Rupa, Shabda, Gandha, Rasa, O Pottabbayatana, and Manayatana and Dhammayatana. Right? So the physical ayatana, the object ayatana, those two. So there are 6 each, 6 into 2, 12. There are 12 ayatanas, right? There are 12 ayatanas, but I will have to explain the ayatanas to you to break it up into the ayatanas, which we will do, right? So now when I then explain the ayatana, the 18 dhatus, and what chittas and chetasikas goes into the 18 dhatus, how it is divisible by the 18 dhatus, then I will explain to you the satchas according to the Four Noble Truths. Where do the chittas and chetasikas go into the Four Noble Truths? Then I will explain what a satcha muttaka is, how something can be free of truth, right? Then what we will do is, when the tika, right, now kusala dhamma is 21 chittas and 38 chetasikas. So 28 chittas and 38 chetasikas we can divide into kanda, ayatana, dhatu, satcha, muttaka, and also at times tika muttaka, right? In certain times, tika muttaka. Now those part, that part, so this whole section I will explain to you next week, right? And we will go through examples, right? We will go through examples. So now, for example, let us say, let's go to satcha here, right? Now, first of all, kusala dhamma. Kusala dhamma is 21 chittas and 38 chetasikas. Hence, we know that a kusala karma can only be committed, right, through these 21 types of chittas, right? 38 types of chetasikas, right? When we think, okay, our intention is pure, our action is impure. Is that a kusala dhamma or a akusala dhamma? If the intention, the starting intention is pure, but the action that you do following that intention is impure, that becomes akusala dhamma. How do we know it becomes akusala dhamma? Because the action is committed through a different type of chitta there. Right? For example, I want to discipline my child. I want to make sure that he is learned or in mannerisms or whatever it is, right? So I hit him when he does wrong, right? So the intention is pure, which is the fact of you want to correct your child, you want to bring him up properly, but the action is rooted in akusala, right? So where that chitta is in akusala, right? However, now kusala dhamma, we must do kusalas as much as we possibly can. We must do kusalas as much as we possibly can. However, kusala dhamma, right, we find in the satcha, it is dukkha satcha. What does that mean? Kusala dhamma is dukkha satcha. Kusala dhamma is dukkha satcha means that it supports in the existence or in the rebirth process. E kusalaya dukkata hetu wenna puluwan. Right? Kusala can also lead way to future dukkha. Kusala dhamma. Is that clear, everyone? Right? However, in that kusala, there are also 4 mangas there, right? Yes, the kusala we have 4, right? Of the magga there, lokottara dhammas, right? That is under magga satcha. Why enlightenment? Right? Do you understand? Is that clear? So, of those, the only thing out of those kusala dhammas, out of the kusalas, the only kusala that does not bring about suffering but leads way to the eradication of suffering are the lokottara dhammas, lokottara chittas, right? Hence, in the practice, even when we do kusala dhamma, we have to aspire for the lokottara. Does that make sense, everyone? Right? That is further explained in this part. Of course, there are greater detail that we can go into, right? But that is the gist of it for today, everyone. Right? That is the gist of it for today. Right? Now, all right, everyone. I will then see you next week. So during this time, of course, we have gone over amount of detail. Really, it was a breaking down of the book, right? The breaking down of the Mula, right? So during this time, what you could possibly do is you could go into, where is this? Go into what I see in the chart, right? Now, something that you can do is Kusala Dhamma, 21 Chittas, 38 Chetasikas. What is Akusala Dhamma? What is Abhyakata Dhamma? Right? What is Sukhaya Vedanaya Sampayutta Dhamma? Right? You could explore those. Sukhaya Vedana Sampayutta Dhamma. Right? What are the Dhammas Sukhaya Vedanaya Sampayutta Dhamma? What are the Dhammas associated with Sukha Vedana? Dukkhaya Vedanaya Sampayutta Dhamma. What are the Dhammas associated with Dukkha Vedana? Right? You can look into that. Right? In doing so, what you will do is Chitta Chetasika Sampayoga Sangraha. That is what you're going to polish up. Is that clear, everyone? Right? Adukkama Sukhaya Vedanaya Sampayutta Dhamma. Right? What are the Dhammas that are associated with neither Sukha nor Dukkha? Is that clear? Now here in the Tikamatika, I'll just show you this. Now here there is one, right? One. Kusala Tika is one. Right? Here we find the last one, 22 tikkers. Right? 22 tikkers. So 22 tikkers, that is what? 22 into 3. Everyone has 3 different parts. Right? Sanidasana, Anidasana, Anidasana, Tikkers, Dhamma. Right? So 3 parts. So there you have 66 different parts that we go through. Do you understand? Exactly, everyone. So, yes. I will upload the lecture. All right.
Bante, these shortened forms, Bante, I know somebody requested it before. Did you put it anywhere? What is DHY and what is MA? No.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know.
Next week. I haven't put it anywhere. Next week.
Right.
Okay. I have to explain the different categories.
Because we can't otherwise work. I can't work it out otherwise.
Yeah. So don't go into Khanda Ayatana Dhatu Satcha. You can look at the tikkers, just the tikkers, right? Kusala Dhamma, Akusala Dhamma, right? All right, everyone. So I'll see you next time on Monday for the continuation of the Dhammasangani. Take care and Theravada Buddhist.
Bante. Thank you very much.